You don't need a massive container to get massive yield. What you do need is to understand how to use every inch of that pot to your advantage. And that's what we'll show you here in this video. But first, check this out. You can't have that stank dank smell coming right out your grow. You got to take care of that. Go to acinfinity.com. You can pick up a carbon filter for them or their fan and filter combos and really pimp out your grow, guys. When you get the combo kit, and I got to say, they're the quietest fans I have ever ran. You could sit there and actually do a podcast with this thing taking care of business. There we go with their controller. This controls your complete environmental control. Great setup, 10-speed fans, acinfinity.com, coupon code DUDEGROWS. Take care of all that odor in your grow. Back to the show. All right, how are we going to do this, Scotty? We need to have a big plant in a small pot.
I was thinking the same thing. Shout out to Chris Farley. But, man, you can do this. I just saw it done. Colorado Chris showed me some giant plants of big fat buds in a 1-gallon container, and you can definitely do it. There's just some best practices we need to follow with this.
Well, first off, let's talk about nutrition. Now, if I do not have a lot of root zone to feed that plant, I'm going to have to feed it quickly, ready, like an IV, man. I picture that plant like on the ready, getting what it needs.
Yep. Yeah, and that means we got to go with plant available nutrients, which are synthetic nutrients. Organics is great, but if you look at some of the NPKs in the organics, it's, 213 or something like that. That's out of 100 pounds. So it's very little, it's very low concentration. Organics is amazing. Those microbes mine it and they deliver it at the right time, at the right proportions. But man, you need the soil's the battery in organics, and you need a decent sized battery.
Your media is going to be really important as well. We're not going with organic, compost type, heavy soils. You want something that performs. Like what do we got? Inert peat, cocoa, even rock wool potentially.
I mean, if you want to see the most primary example or the most clear example of this, just do what is a Dutch table method. You'll see a 6-inch by 6-inch by 6-inch rock wool cube with a pretty dang big plant. And that's irrigation, that's fertilizer, that's a lot of things, but you can definitely do that in a small container.
All right, you said it, container. What type of containers are we using, guys? You want to use air pruning containers, fabric pots. There's actually some PVC mesh, plants, Grain Science, plant bags or something like that. There's a lot of variation in these. And the main thing is we don't want to get root out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the idea behind those air pruning pots is the roots can actually hit the outside and then they hit that air. And of course, a root doesn't want to grow in air, so it prunes it off. The plant realizes that root has been pruned off, so it makes another one. So you get these really branchy roots. Yeah, Grambo. Tight work, brother. Yeah, take a look at that. And then when the roots hit the side of that regular container, it's still in the container. Whoa. Yeah, it starts circling around. And what do we know about plant roots? The lion's share of the nutrient absorption is done in the new growing tips. So by having a giant circle like that, man, you have really, bound yourself. How do you like that? Root bound. Yeah, you're not going to be able to get nearly as much nutrient into that plant.
Yeah, and you get way more root, not only root tips, but right by the root tips are your root hairs, which are also good for nutrient absorption. So yeah, go with an air pruning container, a root pruning container. And that being said, it takes us to our third point. You better be on top of irrigation on small containers. Irrigation system, unless you're around all the time.
No, you need an irrigation system. If you're going to be growing a decent sized plant in a little pot, you're going to be doing cyclical irrigation, whether you like it or not, because your plant if you got a 1 gallon or one of them Hugo blocks, those 6-inch blocks, it is going to dry out multiple times a day. You're going to have to be watering these things at least once or twice a day if you got a decent sized plant. And most of the time what they do is they break it up into these little doses and the water, 10, 12, 14 times a day, but 1 ounce, 2 ounces at a time. And that encourages dryback. When you have dryback, when the plant isn't saturated, it's a little bit, the media is a little bit dry. The roots go and they reach out. They need more nutrient. They need more water So they root out and they branch out and they just expand their surface area with those new nutrient absorption tips or absorbing tips really aggressively. It's a great trick.
Yeah, I agree for ultimate performance. Yeah, I've heard 6 to 7 times a day. And you can get by, don't be intimidated. If you're there, if you eat it 2 times a day, you can probably maintain, but you're not going to get ultimate performance of just constant nutrition hitting that root cell.
Yeah, this is crop steering, by the way. There's a lot of great information on the interwebs about it. But check it out, man. Cyclical irrigation, crop steering. You're steering them roots, man.
I dig. Hopefully that helped you guys. Let us know if I know some people do those actual competitions right now. We have somebody in the DGC doing the solo cup autoflower.
Yeah.
So, but if you guys, what's the smallest pot that you take to harvest? For me, it's 3 gallons. I've seen some people in 2. One's kind of extreme. Give us some comments below and some tips on maximizing your yield in small containers.
Yes, I dig it, dude. And come on, if you dug this video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share this video with another grower you know. And Grandpa, make sure they check out the other couple of videos YouTube's recommended, man. Do it.